Oregon School Board drops ban on gay pride and other symbols.
Newberg School District quietly dropped its controversial ban on political symbols in classrooms last month. That ban did make national headlines, and Queen 6 followed the saga for over a year. In 2021, the school board banned Black Lives Matter and gay pride symbols, then expanded it to all political symbols to get around some legal challenges. Last month, the Newberg Education Association settled its federal civil rights lawsuit over the matter. The school board will have to reimburse both the state and federal governments for part of their legal fees. And now, one board member is proposing a parental bill of rights.
ODE is simply run through with ideologues, radical ideologues who are absolutely intent on pushing this sort of garbage down our kids' throats. And so parents have to stay vigilant, and the school board has to be a bulwark against that.
In a statement, the Newberg Education Association says the ruling protects marginalized populations in the schools.
A school district in Oregon has quietly rescinded its ban on educators displaying symbols of the Black Lives Matter movement or gay pride. Following a court settlement with a teachers' union, Newberg, a town of about 25,000 residents nestled in Oregon's wine country, has become an unlikely focal point for the national battle over schooling between the left and right. Newberg lies 25 miles southwest of Portland. In 2021, the school board banned school staff from displaying Black Lives Matter and gay pride symbols, then expanded the ban to all political or controversial signs after being advised the first rule wouldn't survive a legal challenge. The Newberg City Council and multiple Democratic members of the Oregon House and Senate all condemned the school board's action. The Newberg School Board voted unanimously on January 10th to rescind the controversial policy. A month after the Newberg Education Association announced it had settled its federal civil rights lawsuit over the matter. Newberg School's Superintendent Stephen Phillips told Oregon Public Broadcasting that, quote, "The policy will not be amended or changed. It is gone," end quote. The local teachers union said the court settlement includes the school board reimbursing both the National Education Association and the Oregon Education Association for part of their legal fees. The Yamhill County Circuit Court ruled earlier that the school board's policy violated the state constitution's free speech guarantee. Talking about the ruling, the Newberg Education Association said, quote, "It protects the marginalized populations in our student and staff bodies. We can continue to create safe spaces in our schools and offer support to students who identify as LGBTQIA plus students and students of color without fear of retaliation." And I'm so glad to hear some positive news for LGBTQ and queer students because we
have at a local level,
at the local level, because there's just not a lot happening, especially here in Florida right now. And we really have to keep an eye on the Miami-Dade County School Board. They are dealing with this exact same issue. They have been talking since I think it was December about how to amend their flag policy. I know that their primary issues, they want to make sure that the American flag and the Florida flag are prominently displayed in classrooms, but there also seems to be some energy around making sure that other flags, particularly pride flag or other political signs, do not make their way into the classroom.
Yeah, I think maybe, I don't know, maybe. Also, the Northwest coast is quite progressive politically compared to the Southeast, at least. I think people are realizing too, these are just not they're not just flags, right? They are movements. I heard someone say, oh, if you can have a pride flag, well, I can have a Confederate flag. There's no movement for that. You know, there's no history of you living under oppression or the reason for you to have to do that. And I think if people need to realize, especially the Black Lives Matter, I mean, both flags are important, but Black Lives Matter is very important to, especially if you're a teacher or school, to support some way or allow its presence, because it literally, it can make your students of color feel, unequal or in danger or, unseen.
It's not even about the flags. It's about creating starting a conversation about these really important issues that are happening in our world. It does our students no favors to pretend like current events don't exist, to not be able to contextualize what is going on in the world around them and help them to understand and process that information. And it's also about just indicating to students who feel marginalized, who feel like they can't live their full and authentic selves, where they can go and talk to someone that might be able to help them. Just imagine, you don't even have to imagine, I imagine anyone on this panel, but like if you're an LGBT student and you just need an adult to talk to help you process, the things that are going on in your life, and just knowing that there's, someone in your school, a teacher, a counselor, an administrator, that you can go and feel welcomed by and be honest with, how important that is.
Yeah. And I think these flags are symbols of who we are as a nation, right? We are a diverse place, right? We're an inclusive place, right? Yeah, we have some fashions in our country that are trying to eliminate, the presence of these flags in school buildings and other places. But the reality is the United States is a land of the free, right? It's an open place, right? It's the most diverse place in the world, right? This is where people come because of who we are, right? The riches of our country. And we need to be able to teach that in our education system, right? We need to make sure that we affirm that black kid who's in a Newberg school district, which is right outside of Portland, right? Which he's probably the only black kid, or there's probably like 2 or 3 black kids in the school, right? To affirm that you're welcomed here. You're welcomed here. And you're a part of us as well. We might be majority one, but you're welcome just as well as everybody else is here. And that's critical. That's critical for young people feeling safe, that sense of security, that sense of belonging. It's been proven that if you don't feel safe in a school place, oftentimes, particularly young kids of color, and I've seen this in New York a lot, where if they're in a majority one race or ethnicity school and they are the minority, if they're not accepted, if they're not feeling welcome, oftentimes we lose those kids, right? We either lose them to the streets or to other, who knows what, I don't want to name it, but we've seen it time and time again. So that inclusion, that showing signs of acceptance, that showing signs of welcoming is important, not only to kids of color, but especially to kids that identify like us around this table of LGBTQ. So I think it's about teaching young people of who we are as a nation. It's really, really critical, and that we are a welcoming nation. And I say, I want to say some words, but I can say, really to those who don't believe in this, like you don't represent the good aspects of our nation. The good aspects is that we are diverse, we're inclusive, and we love everyone here. And we want everyone to be welcome, particularly in our education system. And it's amazing for them at the local level doing this.
Yeah. And, to your point, school boards like in Miami-Dade are where the real elections are held, where the foundational elections are held to set policy. And I believe the Proud Boys have taken over the Miami-Dade Republican Party, and they are infiltrating our school boards, shouting down anybody who disagrees with them. And of course, we still have yet to see what terribleness is going to come out of Tallahassee this year. We've got wonderful people like Scott Galvin of Safe Schools and Max Fenning of PRISM who are going to be keeping an eye on that, fighting that every step of the way. And the easy comparison to make, of course, is to contrast the liberal Northwest with what is essentially now deep red Florida. But I think this shows that the coasts are very liberal. This is just about 25 miles, 30 miles inland, and they've essentially got a red school board. They're a red area that is saying we don't want to do this, and they're only doing it because the courts are making them to. So I don't know why, and I'm sure there are great studies out there that would explain it to me very well, but you go just a little bit outside those cities and you're not in friendly territory anymore. It's not just regional. It is parts of the state. We've got Broward County here, and now we can't even really say South Florida. It's Broward County and sort of Palm Beach County, because Miami seems to have abandoned us as well. So it's something we need to keep an eye on and keep open minds about. Don't assume people are good. Don't assume people are bad, but keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would love to add so much to that, but let's
just travel.
Well, just one thing I wanted to note that you said, and I say this as an observation. Yeah. I'm an American now. I'm an American citizen, but I immigrated here from Guatemala, a country where I couldn't really be publicly as openly gay as I am right today there. and most people can't. What I've noticed about the United States, like you said, outside of the coastal cities, it's hard to be included or feel included as a minority, as a gay person, as a woman, as infinite things, even as a straight man in many ways, as a non-toxic straight man or anyone who's different. America has a problem with inclusion. I think it has to do with its, settler colonial history and its segregation history and all that. But it's I don't know, just noting that. Anyways.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.